Yo, if you don't know already, I've been traveling around New Zealand and Australia for the last couple months now. And this is actually my last stop up in Cairns here. I'm just going for a quick hike. And this was just kind of on my mind. And kind of wanted just to talk about it and discuss it a little bit. Because this is actually my last stop on this trip and the last place that I'll be. And so I was kind of just reflecting on like everything that I've gone through, all the people I've met, all the stuff that I've done, and how much I feel I've grown on this trip and how much I feel like I've developed in the sense that I've matured a lot and just learned a lot of new things. And part of me when I got here was kind of, sad that I had to go home pretty soon. I'm leaving in about 2 weeks back to Canada to the -40 winter. But once I kind of started to take some time and think it through, like about why I'm like, I gotta leave. It's like, it doesn't look as cool on social media and stuff that you're not traveling and like all these different things. But when you actually take some time to think about it, this trip and like anything you do wouldn't be special if it never ended. Nostalgia and wanting to feel the way you did in the past is an extremely powerful emotion, and it's extremely good to experience a lot of the times. It can be very wholesome. But I think one of the things that a lot of people suffer from in terms of those emotions is they feel that nostalgia and they have those memories of those times and they want to recreate it too bad. They get too attached to not letting something go. This can happen with places we live, people we know, or just times in our life in general that we just want to recreate, and we feel, whether we like watch an old video or something, and just want to recapture that feeling that we have. And it's not necessarily just sit with that memory. A lot of people just get stuck in their ways and are afraid of change. But the thing you got to learn and the thing you got to remember is nothing lasts forever. Not one single thing will ever be around forever. It's always going to end, no matter if it ends today, tomorrow, or a year from now. Everything that's good has to end sometime, and it's the balance. That's what balances things out. If you don't want to stop doing something and you're not going to miss it, then it's not really something that's going to be worth your time. It won't feel special. It won't feel like you have that nostalgia. You won't get it from something that just you do in your every single day life, that you do in your everyday life and just do all the time, and it's just normal to you. This is the thing with good times. We get attached to how the way something is and are afraid of it to change, and are not necessarily always afraid, but want things to be the way they were and things to be the same as they were in high school, or we want that relationship back with that friend or whoever it was. But oftentimes, even when we look back at things, we only remember the good parts. A lot of times we're not so concerned on what the bad things were at that time, but to everything there's pros and cons. It's that balance again. There's always going to be good things and there's always going to be bad things as well. And when you get caught up in having that nostalgia or wanting something to go back to the way it was when things were good, like I said, you often forget about the cons that were there. Like on this trip, there's stuff that's really enjoyable and stuff that's really cool, but there's also a lot of stuff that I miss about being home. And then when I go home, there's going to be stuff I miss about traveling. It's all a balance, and there's always pros and cons to things. And this is the same for bad times too. No matter how bad you think things are right now, that time is going to pass through if you're willing to let it, and if you're willing to accept that change. Because time will heal all wounds. Time is a beautiful thing in the sense that nothing lasts forever, for good things and bad. And the only way to deal with this is literally just be present at whatever you're doing right now, whatever time you are in. Be present. Focus on what you can control right now. And I'm not saying don't prepare for your future and don't have that mindset of looking forward to the future or being grateful for your past, but you have to be present. You can't enjoy something when it's done. I mean, you can, but you only really have right now. You only have this moment. And if you're closed off to it and you're not willing to accept everything that it's going to bring, then you're going to be living life in a half-assed way. You're not going to experience everything that it's trying to give you. You're not going to be looking for opportunities that are coming your way even though you don't want them, or even though you're not expecting them to. And sorry, climbing up this hill is like, it's hard to talk and also breathe at the same time and think about like philosophical thoughts. But just like this hike, it's gonna end eventually. I'm gonna get to the top. This video will end. Everything is impermanent. Even impermanence itself is impermanent. Being bored, eventually you're gonna feel occupied again. When you're having the best time of your life, eventually you're gonna come out of that flow state and go back to your regular old life. It's just the way it is. And trying to chase those feelings is gonna get you nowhere. It's either gonna make life worse or it's gonna make your life even worse. Chasing the past will do nothing for you. This happens with relationships all the time. People want, oh, I want closure from this person. Or you want to hear back from that job that didn't give you the answer to your application. But if something's over and those people aren't in your life anymore, they gave you your closure. They gave you your answer. Their answer is no, they're not meant to be in your life, and you have to be willing to accept that. You have to be willing to move on. And not saying that it's going to be easy. Obviously, it's always going to be hard, but just having your perspective shift that nothing's going to be around forever, no matter how much you love it or how much you hate it, is very freeing. You'll feel a lot lighter. You'll hold on to stuff a lot more, and you'll be willing to really just live a much more peaceful, detached life. And I know I'm not trying to sound like a monk or anything, but detaching from things will save you a lot of heartbreak, but also not necessarily, it'll make you enjoy things more. Not in the sense that you're afraid to get attached, but just understanding that nothing is permanent is very freeing and liberating, because it makes you enjoy the things that you have a lot more. I wouldn't have enjoyed this trip as much in these 3 months if I knew I was going to be here for 6. I wouldn't be as present. I wouldn't have done as many things as I wanted to, because I know I'd have time I could waste, and that I have more time. But when it's those last couple days, you really try to focus on enjoying it. You got to be willing to take the lows and the highs as they come, because if you've never experienced wrong, how are you supposed to know what's right? You have to have the balance for everything. Nothing will be permanent, nothing will be the same. So enjoy those moments when you're on those highs, but understand that you're going to come down. And even when you're low, you understand that those good times can be found. I should make music and rhyme or something like that. But I'm sure you get the point that even impermanence isn't permanent. Everything ends. So enjoy those moments where you get to the top. Enjoy those moments that you feel free. Because no matter how hard you hold on to them, they're going to end sometime or another. And then when you finally find yourself at the top, do your best to enjoy it, because the view, it's always pretty nice. All right, I'll see you later. Take a break now.